Okay, let's give you a quick rundown of what to do and expect here for today for the 3 Showdown slates on the 7 gamer on Friday, so we can get you rolling here. I noticed right here, right away, that is with Chicago and Philly. There's some really good value here with Kobe White because as a 6 man, what you want to look for is minutes, 24 per game, and usage, 24. So significantly better than a lot of the guys, even as the starters, even though those are unlimited minutes as far as those time on the floor. He's got great value here, just about 5x. It is a little bit tough to find great value, which is 5x on this particular game or docket. So we could go with Kobe in probably all types of contests that you would go for in Draftkings. I want to make sure that this is Andy with Wealthy Fantasy Football, by the way. Any questions answered, leave any questions there or on my site, wealthyfantasyfootball.com, so we can get you going on anything else you might want to see or have explained or demonstrated a little bit better. So what I do here normally is go through it here with the projections. Chicago at Philly, as Philly is favored by 7.5, and you can look at all lines and so forth, betting wise and recent results, of course. Pretty easy to do and look at as far as what you might think. Initially here, I did put in on my site on the latest post, like the captain spot being Ben Simmons, and then the utilities, these guys that score highly, um, and so forth. So you can get the link to this particular tool, which gives you for the single or classic slates, of course, the the prices. So Kobe White, for example, 5K, and Ben Simmons 11.4, which is different than the actual. A lot of times, because obviously you have those who are like 1,000, such as Trey Burke. He could get in the game, get some action. Mike Scott 2,400, possibly some value there if it opens up and shows that he is starting it there because Embiid is being out for a while. Let's just look and see if there's any other injuries or doubtful players to be concerned about. Wendell Carter Jr., Otto Porter, and Daniel Gafford appear to be questionable. I'm sorry, questionable players are included in these projections here. You can look at some stats there, but projected stats. So just the main ones: points, rebounds, assists, even 3 pointers. But also Gafford appears to be out. He would have been a good play with Carter. So where do we go? We want to go to Thaddeus Young right here. He's been on his game hitting threes, and of course getting some other peripheral stats. So we can go to him. As far as the Chicago side, this is great advice, of course, as well for the main slate. What you want to do is I also leave this info there on my blog site to get to the podcast. I'll leave a link there for today's NBA DFS podcast. It's already set up where you can listen to it right now, even early in the morning if you happen to see this. So then moving on here to the plays for a basic rundown early of the Miami the matchup. They have a projected score of OKC, kind of running away with this game a bit, but the actual bettors appear to disagree. So we'll see. Maybe we get some line change or movement later on, as it appears the best captain would be Chris Paul. So we can look at him and just to see if there's any doubtful players. Just Justice Winslow is the only guy. So we're basically going to go to none or Dragic for the point guard, whoever appears to be starting preferably. To build out a lineup, of course, we want to initially build out a cash lineup, and then, of course, for our popular DPP captain slates, we want to reorganize and rearrange for different captains and different utility spots, of course, so we can get different and unique options up in there. Not necessarily at all going for the max price for your lineups, but leaving some cash on the table, maybe 1,000, 1,500, so we can get very unique in that way. Let's take a look at the best value here for this game, though. Miami OKC 5.4, great value out of Jimmy B and Chris Paul, so we can also consider Jimmy B as long as it appears that the game will stay close, which is very possible. I would say then Jimmy B being a good captain play as well. Jenna Schroeder, as we mentioned a bench player. He's getting even better than Kobe White. 31 minutes per game, 28% usage, so great play there. We can look at Dragic, as I mentioned, of course, and Gallinari, and guys like that. You can even arrange an order of minutes. Who's getting the most minutes from this team. Jimmy B for the Heat and SGA for the OKC Thunder. So um, just some different interesting ways to arrange it. You can go by total fan points on the year if you want, things like that. Who scored the most is Bam, followed by Butler, Chris Paul. Hit percentage is how much they hit, their percentage of value. Okay. Um, so that's what they're likely to do. It's likely to hit value, Chris Paul. So him being the most safest, probably cash play. That's for any slate that you're working with. So then let's move on to the Dallas side here. That is Dallas and Portland, the 9:30 later game for today. As we look at here, it's going to be a closer game probably than the other ones. With Luka, of course, no doubt being highest scoring. We got Porzingis and Hardaway. Porzingis likely to be back. I don't see any significant, really questionable players other than maybe Rodney Hood for the Trailblazers. So we can look at these guys. Dame, of course, leading the way for Portland, and followed up in the backcourt with McCollum and the front court with a Whiteside. So um, that's a likely scenario there. As we now look at value for the slate of DraftKings on the Showdown captain and utility spots, we got the most value out of Lillard to be exact, followed by McCollum or Janovic for a backup center for Dallas. Has seen the big man out there making threes. Interestingly, we can get him maybe in our lineups at 2,600. No problem there, I guess. Whiteside, Carmelo, Seth Curry getting some action there. We know what he can pretty much do on a normal nightly basis. So you can look at these plays. So that's pretty much all I'll do. If you want any requests, like I said, mention any questions. If you want to see some really, if there's enough interest to make a football slate, we could do that or get into it still by tomorrow. So maybe, for Saturday, get ready for Sunday slate for the championship games. Let me know what you all want to have me do better or bring up for you for any kind of slate. So we'll look at that and talk to you all later.